Hey, what's up, black people? What's going on? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. I wanted to hop in to talk about getting rich and building wealth and what that means. And a lot of people think that there are a lot of secrets to things like building wealth. They think there's secrets to what it means to get rich, and it's true to some extent. There is such a thing as a wealthy mindset, and there is a way that wealth builders think that's very different from other people. And so, before I dive into it, I want to ask everybody if you can give me a yes in the chat to let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay, because I want to make sure I'm coming through all right. Today, my wife and I ran a 15K race, and there she is giving me a kiss across the finish line. And the reason that race was a big deal is because I was tired as hell and didn't really want to do a whole 15K. I wanted to actually do 5K, and she said, Boyce, you could do it. You could do it. And I was like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. But then I said, you know what? I got to show my woman what kind of man I am. So I'm going to do the whole damn thing. And it was painful as hell. But there's some more pictures of us crossing the finish line. That's before the race. And so, anyway, with that said, let me hop in and share with you guys. Thank you, Shadi Muhammad, and Grateful Monique, and Demetrius Carter, and Stacy Newhouse. All right, so let me hop back. Let me hop into this for the people that have short attention spans and want to bounce out early. Let me just say this: when you talk about getting rich, or just what that means, elevating your lifestyle. One thing I want you to understand real clear is that there's not a big difference between people that are so-called rich and people that are not rich. Like, we think that it's like miles apart. We think it's like this massive divide. We think that, oh my God, it's such a big deal. There's a picture of Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth. By the way, white people got rich off you, right? White people got rich off you. You made white people rich, and in my view, if you can make white people rich, then you can make yourself rich. You're right. If you can make everybody else rich, why can't you make yourself rich, right? You make white people rich. You make Asian people rich. You make Jewish people rich. You make Arab people rich. So if you're making the whole world rich, why can't you make yourself rich, right? Well, that is a matter of the directionality of your resources. So the first thing you have to understand, in my view, this is me speaking. My PhD's in finance, so I spend a lot of time thinking about wealth and where wealth comes from, and what's the difference between people that are financially strong and financially secure versus people who are not financially secure. Well, the first thing I noticed is that if you look at the life of a person who's doing well financially versus the person who's not doing well, that's not a big gap a lot of times. That's not a big gap. If you look at the income, for example, of a person who's working class, let's say they're making $3,500 a month, something like that. That's about 36 to $40,000 a year. A person who's doing well might be a person who's making, say, $7,000 a month. So typically, what that means is that $7,000 a month person has simply done some basic little thing that has increased their income by maybe $3,000 or $4,000 a month. So it might mean they have a little side hustle. I talked to Keisha Ravenel, who was at the All Black National Convention, and she created a side hustle where she sells T-shirts, and she coaches people on how to build T-shirt businesses and things like that. So that, think about that, right? If she has clients that pay her, say, I don't know, I think one of her packages is like $3,000, another one's $1,500. So she gets one client a month, or two clients a month. She can make that extra $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Now, I'm not trying to say everybody should do exactly what she does, but I'm saying that a lot of times, if you join some group of wealth building people, if you join some group of people that have a wealthy mindset, and you just simply say, my income is $3,000 a month. I want my income to be $7,000 a month. I need to figure out how to get there. They can probably give you ideas out here. I mean, there's money out here. It doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's always right in your face, but there's money out here. And that leads to the second point. The second thing about getting rich is you got to really look at the people that you're spending your time with, the people that you're having conversations with, the people that you're around. There are people that you can sit around who, and I like your comment, Kai. Kai says, doesn't work that way. There's a certain privilege of being Caucasian in this country. Yeah, and so there are black people you can sit around who will sit here and complain to you all day about how hard it is to be black, how white people have all the money, how there's no opportunities for being black, that being black is like a disability and it's a handicap. And I get that, right? I totally understand those who feel that way, but that's not my conversation. That's not the conversation that I want to have all day. I don't want to sit and honor white people all day by talking about how white people control everything and how white people can do things that we can't do. And white people are superheroes and white people are extraordinary. And white people control my destiny, right? I cannot be powerful. Pay attention, black people. Listen to me. Give me a yes if you're hearing what I'm saying. You can never be powerful if all you're doing is sitting around complaining about how powerless you are. Do you follow what I'm saying? You cannot be powerful by complaining about your powerlessness. That's not power. That's that's punk acidness. I don't know what it is, but it ain't power. A powerful person don't sit around and say, let me tell you about all the people that are controlling my life. I'm empowered today. I'm empowered because I'm gonna tell y'all how hard it is. It's I just, like a football team doesn't show its power by complaining about how many points the other team is scoring. Man, the Dallas Cowboys, we powerful. Because the Philadelphia Eagles, they score all the touchdowns. They tackle us every time we touch the ball, and every time we try to make an offensive move, they always stop us. They play defense, and then they scoring all the touchdowns. That ain't right. That ain't right. I don't want to have those conversations, man. Come on. Seriously. Like, y'all Negroes need to get out the cage, man. Some black folks love living in the cage because I'm gonna tell you, a powerful person has to accept accountability for their outcomes. A truly powerful person simply moves and makes decisions and operates and functions and says, yeah, I know everybody ain't rooting for me. Everybody doesn't want me to win. I don't need you to want me to win. I'm gonna win anyway. I don't need my haters to love me. Haters gonna hate regardless. I don't need my haters to love me. I don't need my haters to be my friend. I'm gonna give them more things to hate about. Like your mama used to say, keep crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Right? So yeah, haters, if you crying over me, then keep crying. I'm gonna give you even more to cry about. My goal is to increase your haterology by tenfold. I got about 1 million haters on the internet. Seriously, if you count them up, I'm sure it's like 1 million hating, whining ass Negroes out here who somehow hate black excellence, and that's fine. My goal is to have 10 million. So by the end of the decade, or maybe the end of the next 2 years, not the end of the decade, my goal is to have 10 million haters. So thank you very much. Haters don't die; they multiply. They like roaches. They like coronavirus. They are the black coronavirus. So you keep on hating because you are a measure of success. I'm gonna give you something to hate on in a major way. Wait till I become a billionaire. Then you really gonna hate my guts, and I can't wait for that. But anyway, next piece. So think about who you're around. Think about the energy of the people that you're involved with. One thing you'll notice, any of y'all who came to the All Black National Convention will know that the convention was special. Like everybody who was there talks about how the energy was different, how the love was on 12, uh, everybody wanted everybody to win. Everybody wanted everybody to be intelligent. It was like a family reunion, right? Like, give me a yes if you were there and you saw that either you saw it digitally or you were there physically. Say something in the chat to confirm exactly what I'm saying right here. That energy was high. Why? Well, because the people that were in that space are high vibrational black people. The people that were in that space were people like Queen Afua, who's 70 years old, who has the energy of a 30-year-old. People like Nuri Muhammad, who is from the Nation of Islam, extremely intelligent, extremely insightful, an extreme believer in black love. People like Julian Gordon, who's a multimillionaire real estate developer, right? Akila Honda, one of the greatest rappers I've ever heard, right? The people that just had love, right? It was a vibration, it was a frequency, it was black magic. That's what it was. It was black excellence squared, which becomes black magic, where you say, my God, these black people are operating on cloud nine, and everybody else doesn't even understand what this is, right? But you had to be in that space to understand. That's intentional, that's deliberate. There's an intentionality that you must have in your life when it comes to deciding who you're going to be around and whose energy you will absorb. And you also have to be intentional about what energy you will either walk away from or what energy you will fight against. You will deflect, whatever. So love is big, right? You got to love yourself enough to get around people who are going to love you back. The next step toward becoming rich and successful and everything else is more specific. They say studies show that the average person, the average American, spends 2 hours a month studying wealth and how to make money. 2 hours a month. The average millionaire spends 20 hours a month. The average millionaire spends 20 hours a month studying how to get wealthy. So the question that you must ask yourself is this: what am I studying to learn how to do? What am I? You're always studying. You're always taking in information. You're always absorbing something, right? I don't care if you think you're doing nothing. No, you're doing something. You're studying. If you're sitting there staring at Netflix, then you're studying Netflix. If you listen to Cardi B every day, then you studying Cardi B. You studying how to twerk and how to sell WAP and how to suck a man's penis, and I mean that's what you're studying. Seriously, right? You're always studying something. If you're talking to your negative ass friend, then you're studying how to be a negative ass person, right? So the question is, what are you studying every day? And that which you consume is that what you will become. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. So, dear Black people, I ask you, what are you eating? Are you eating knowledge? If you eat knowledge by the ton, then you're gonna be a knowledgeable person. Seriously, I was at when I was at the convention, I saw my brother. Baby, what was that? Red pill or blue pill? Who was there? Who didn't know the ledge? Blue pill. I love blue pill. I love blue pill. If y'all ain't looked up blue pill and red pill, you gotta look them up. Blue pill and red pill were there, and their mama was there. And I did not know. Did you know they were Dr. Sebi's kids? No. Oh, sorry. That's no. His wife was Dr. Sebi's widow. But are they his sons? No. Okay, sorry. Okay, well, their mama is his widow. But either way. So Blue Pill was there, and I like Blue Pill. The reason I just love the guy is because his knowledge comes out just in the way he even greets you. He greets me with energy, and positive energy, and I just love that. Or you cannot help but to love people who love you back. Well, that whole community, that's what they're all about. That's why. Yeah, that whole community, just positive, right? The high vibration. I love that, and they're into knowledge, and I just think that literally needs to be what it, when people talk about what it means to be Black. A lot of people think like, when you say what does it mean to be Black, well, it doesn't mean you gotta listen to rap music, you gotta know how to dance, and you gotta have certain hairstyle. And I'm not saying all that stuff is fine. All that stuff is fine. But that's not my definition of what it means to be Black. To me, what it means to be Black is being free and free to express your Blackness in the way that benefits you and your family the most, right? So it doesn't mean you're not talking about listen to good music and hairstyles and all that, but it also means you're just free. So if you are a Black person who likes rock and roll, then listen to your rock and roll. Black people invented that too, right? Right, if your Blackness is some other form of expression, that's fine. But I think also Blackness has to involve things like family. Blackness must involve things like power. Blackness must involve things like knowledge. Blackness must involve things like just really understanding what freedom really looks like. And so I would encourage you that if you really want to talk about where you want to manifest your life, what you want your family to look like, 20, 30 years from now, think about what you're learning, and you are what you eat. You are what you consume. You are the knowledge that you put inside your brain. And a lot of people are putting things in their brain that's not going to lead them to any sort of success or prosperity. And so get around the right people, have the right focus, carry the right energy, take in the right information. And then at that point, the last piece on this, I would say, is if you want to be wealthy, start preserving your resources, not giving your money away. Right. The biggest, that word conservative is a political term. It's become politicized, but I want to take the politics out of the word conserve. The word conserve just means hold on to your shit. Right. The word conserve just means that it don't, making a lot of money doesn't mean anything if I can't keep a lot of that money. Right. So a wealthy person, all the wealthy people are people that just kept their money. Like that's it, they didn't give it away, right? They kept it and they're growing it, and they might have made a lot of money, but there's a lot of wealth. You don't understand this. There's a lot of wealthy people who never made a lot of money. My grandmother died wealthy, but my grandmother never made more than $22,000 a year. Understand that. You see, so you got a lot of $1 million Negroes that are an inch away from bankruptcy. You got black folks that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, who didn't have the wealth that my grandmother had. My grandmother had wealth when she died, and she never made more than $22,000 a year. So it ain't how much you make; it's how much you keep. It's and conserve. That word conserve slash conservative. I'm not saying become conservative politically. I'm not telling you to become no Republican. I don't get into the Democrat Republican stuff. Please don't think this is a political statement. That's literally how I feel politically. That T-shirt explains exactly how I feel. That's why I put it on a T-shirt. I ain't Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm just black. And so that word about conserving is something that is, to some extent, it becomes diametrically opposed to what you are encouraged to do, right? That's why a lot of people don't become wealthy. They're not encouraged to conserve anything. They're encouraged to give it all away. We're gonna go break the bar. All right, anybody remember? Give me a yes or no if you are a hip hop fan. I'm gonna do a little hip hop trivia. There was a song. Anybody remember this song? The chorus was, "I'm riding around and I'm getting it. I'm riding around and I'm getting it. I'm riding around and I'm getting it. It's mine. I spend it. It's mine. I spend it." Anybody remember that song? Was it Future or Two Chains or somebody else? It was one of those dudes. So what they're really saying is that you should hustle your ass off, go and get it, right? Ride around and get it. And then when you get it, give it away, right? That's the opposite of conserving. That's the opposite of what you do when you're trying to become rich. So I'm gonna take Two Chainz lyrics and I'm gonna flip them. So I'm riding around and I'm getting it. I'm riding around and I'm getting it. I'm riding around and I'm getting it. It's mine. I keep it. It's mine. I keep it. It's mine. I invest it. It's mine. I grow it. Right? That's what you do with your wealth. That's what you do with your income. Income is supposed to become wealth. Income, most people that have wealth got their wealth by receiving income. And what they did with that income was they turned that income into wealth. But income does not always become wealth. Sometimes income runs through you like financial diarrhea. We got a lot of people that believe in financial diarrhea. Just take it in, work your ass off, make all this money, and then just crap it out and throw it away. Buy Gucci and waste your money on all this stupid stuff. And then next thing you know, you're broke again. And then you got to keep going back to work, and you got to keep going back to work for white people so that you can pay your bills. So that word conserve is extremely important. And then when you conserve it, you also find ways to grow it. You find healthy ways to grow it. Remember that there's not a big difference. If you're not rich yet, let me just tell you all seriously, you're not that far away from where rich people are. A lot of times it takes like one major move or one major situation or one adjustment that takes you to that next level. Believe me, take it from a guy. I have leveled up many, many times in my life. I have leveled up in my health. Y'all saw me. Did y'all ever see me? Anybody remember me when I was the fat boys? Anybody remember the pictures of me when I was a fat boy back in the day? Where I was, I wasn't obese, like I wasn't like Roland Martin fat, but I was, I wasn't exactly where I needed to be, right? I was kind of on the pudgy side. Well, if you remember the Fat Boys, you will know like that I went from being the Fat Boys to being the boys who that I am now, right? Where I lost a lot of weight and I slimmed down, and I'm still not. I ain't no Olympic athlete, but I'm definitely in a much better position than I was before, right? And so anyway, that adjustment wasn't like I made all these major changes. It wasn't like I went to another planet and lived a whole different reality. You know what it was? It was like I literally just made like a couple of little changes in my life, right? I said, okay, let me start running. And I didn't run fast. I didn't run hard. I just added that little thing to my life. Every couple of days I would, drag myself 3 miles with my wife. And next thing you know, the weight was falling off. And same thing. When you talk about relationships, or whatever, I have the relationships I want to have. I married the woman that I wanted to marry. Alicia was a woman in my dreams. She still is. I love her. And that move, that move to happiness in my relationships, again, required like a little bit of an adjustment. When it comes to wealth, every time I've leveled up wealth wise, a lot of times it might come from making one little change, joining a new group, having different conversations, learning a new skill, right? And so I would encourage you to just understand that if you make those little changes, and keep a very positive kind of, sort of energy about yourself, you will be very surprised at how quickly your life can change. Like I was explaining to my daughter about financial freedom and what financial freedom looks like. My daughter, she's my goddaughter, but she's my daughter, if you know what I mean. If you saw her, you'd know she wasn't my biological child. I mean, she's 6'2" and whatever. And so, but anyway, but that's my little girl. So I talked to her, and we were talking. I said to her, I said, you're financially free. Like you're already financially free. And she said, what are you talking about? I only make, whatever she was making, maybe 45, 50,000 or whatever. And I'm not rich. And I said, no, I didn't say you were rich. I said, you're financially free. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, well, financial freedom, a lot of people think being rich means you're financially free. And I said, no, there's a lot of rich people who are not financially free. That's why you have these $1 million slaves out here. Sometimes you have entertainers and athletes who are afraid to say anything controversial or do anything controversial because they need the money, right? And so, financial freedom is not a matter of having all the money in the world. Financial freedom is a matter of having enough resources where you're living below your, or was it you're living below your means, or you're living below the level that you need to live in order for you to not be desperate for money. You're not financially desperate. When you get money, you conserve your resources, you invest your resources, you hold on to the little money you have, and as a result, a person can't come along and buy you up like a slave. A person can't make you do something unethical because you need to get your bills paid, right? You're not constantly being pushed into various forms of uncomfortable choices because of money, right? Like, think about this. I mean, how many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you feel like you know people who are financially desperate? How many of you can identify, or in your mind, right, some sort of financial desperation you've seen from other people, where maybe somebody's sleeping with somebody because of money, maybe they're doing a job they hate because of money, or they're going around and doing unethical things because of money, right? It's all over the place. We see it all the time, and we're used to that. We're used to that financial desperation where the money becomes almost like a drug that you need in order to stay alive. And I told my daughter, I said, I knew you'd be financially free when you were 10, 11 years old, when we would take you to the mall to get a pair of shoes. And you didn't need to go into the Coach store to get shoes. You were okay with going to Payless. When we went out to eat, you didn't need to go to the fanciest restaurant, the most expensive restaurant. You're okay with going to, an Applebee's or whatever it is, right? And so, really, when you talk about what it means to be free, or financially free, and all this other stuff, understand that being rich is not the same as being financially free. But I really want you to also have the chance to be rich if that's what you want. And a lot of times, if you can make that little move, that little level up, you take that little class, you join that little group, you make that little adjustment, then what you will find is that okay, 1 minute that you're making $4,000 a month, the next minute you're making 6,000 a month. Suddenly, everything that was expensive becomes cheap. Everything that was hard becomes easy. The budget that was tight becomes very loose, right? The little bit of money you were putting into your crypto before, you can now put a lot of money into your crypto. And then once you kind of get past that initial barrier, you find that making money becomes much, much easier, right? So shift your mindset and don't do what all these other people are doing, seriously. And then also make sure your family culture is different. Don't follow the path of broke people. Don't follow the path of the ignorant. Follow the path of the intelligent. That's what you want to be. All right. So anyway, that was it. That was my thought for today. I did this race today. You can see the pictures here. Me and my wife just finished this 15K, and now we're about to go eat some breakfast. And we appreciate you guys, and we love you. And that's the picture of us from the convention. We had a really good time at the All Black National Convention. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and then the number 1. So feel free to do that. Also, my Instagram is the Real Boyce Watkins. So feel free to follow me on either. G as well. And I'm out of here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up before you go. Also, subscribe. Love you. Have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.